Tonight, I want to tell you the story of a bowl of Lamb Paomo. The hero of the story is a young man whose family name was Zhao. It happened a very, very long time ago. Night slowly fell over the ancient city of Chang'an. The wind was a little cool. At that time, Zhao Guangyin was not an emperor. He was only a young soldier traveling through a troubled world. The land was not peaceful. Wars rose and fell. Armies moved from place to place. Sometimes he received pay. Sometimes he had to find his own food. That year, he traveled west. Step by step, he reached the old city of Chang'an. He was covered in dust. His clothes were worn and torn. The soles of his shoes were thin. His steps were heavy. He had not eaten a hot meal in many days. In his robe, he had only one thing left, a hard, dry piece of flatbread. Travelers often carried this kind of bread. When it was cold, it felt like a stone. He took a bite. It almost hurt his teeth. He gave a small, quiet smile. Hard as it was, at least it could fill his stomach. As evening came, he walked into Chang'an. The streets were lively. Vendors called out their goods. Then, at the mouth of a small alley, he smelled something rich and warm. It was meat soup, deep and fragrant, with the gentle spice of pepper and the richness of lamb fat. There was a small shop selling beef and lamb. In a large copper pot, the soup was boiling. Lamb bones rose and fell in the broth. Tiny drops of oil shimmered on the surface. White steam lifted into the cool air. Zhao Guangyin stood at the door. He swallowed quietly. The shopkeeper looked up. He saw the young man's tired face and worn clothes. He understood. "Hungry?" the shopkeeper asked softly. Zhao Guangyin nodded. He felt a little shy. He took out his hard bread. "This is all I have," he said. The shopkeeper looked at it. "Break it into pieces," he said. "I'll give you some hot soup." Zhao Guangyin knelt by the door. He broke the bread into small chunks. They fell into a rough clay bowl with crisp little sounds. The shopkeeper lifted a ladle of boiling lamb broth. He slowly poured it over the bread. At once, white steam rose. The oil shone gently like gold. The bowl was placed near the fire for a little while. The bread slowly soaked up the soup. Soon, a steaming bowl of Lamb Paomo was placed into Zhao Guangyin's hands. He held it with both hands. The warmth touched his face. In that moment, he felt the heat reach deep into his heart. He took his first bite. The rich lamb flavor spread in his mouth. The broth had been simmered for a long time. It was fresh, but not strong, thick, but not heavy. The hard bread had become soft, yet still slightly chewy. The lamb slices were thin and tender. The gentle spice touched the tip of his tongue. The scent of green garlic rose at the end. He ate quickly, one bite after another. The cold left his body. His tiredness faded. That bowl was not just bread and soup. It was warmth in a hard time. It was light in a dark night. Many years later, history changed. Zhao Guangyin became emperor. Grand palaces rose around him. Rare dishes filled his table. But sometimes, late at night, he would remember that small alley in Chang'an. He would remember that bowl of hot lamb soup. Later, when he traveled through the region again, he said suddenly, "I remember a shop here. The Lamb Paomo was very good." His ministers did not understand, but they followed him. The shop was still there. The copper pot still boiled. The shopkeeper was older now, but he still stood by the fire. The emperor did not show great ceremony. He sat down quietly. He broke the bread with his own hands. His ministers did the same. Hot broth was poured. Steam rose again. They tasted it. The flavor was strong and simple, not delicate like palace food, but honest, comforting, steady. Someone said softly, "This is better than rare treasures." The emperor smiled. After that, the name of Lamb Paomo spread through Chang'an. People said, "Even the emperor has eaten this bowl." Slowly, it became one of the most famous foods in the city. But even without the emperor's story, Lamb Paomo belonged to the people. In the cold winds of the northwest, people needed warmth. They needed strength. They needed a bowl of hot soup after a long day. The broth must simmer for hours. The lamb bones must cook slowly. The foam is skimmed away. The soup stays clear and rich. The bread is baked firm. It must be strong enough to hold the hot broth. Each person breaks the bread by hand. The smaller the pieces, the better the flavor. When the bread soaks up the soup, you taste both wheat and lamb. The broth feels smooth. The spice is gentle. The herbs are fresh. By the last bite, even your fingertips feel warm. Today, in the streets of Xi'an, Lamb Paomo still sends steam into the air. Old shops have long lines. People travel from far away for one bowl. Late at night, near the city walls, you may still smell that familiar aroma. It is the taste of Chang'an. It is also the warmth a young man once found on a cold night long ago. Now the story is finished. Outside, the wind is soft. May you sleep peacefully tonight and perhaps dream of a warm bowl of Lamb Paomo in your hands.